What's going on, baseball fans? Jeremy Laracuente here for the Baseball Banter Broadcast. And on this broadcast, we're going to continue our series here, trying to turn the Minnesota Twins into a World Series winner. So, on the last broadcast, we went through the offseason of 2022 and 2023, really trying to kind of revamp this team. So, as we look at the lineup here, we signed Jose Abreu, Daniel Vogelbach to contracts, free agent contracts, as well as Albert Pujols and Jose Iglesias. Now, Pujols and Vogelbach are going to be our DHs. They're going to platoon those spots. We're going to go ahead and kind of change things up like that. We brought in Wilson Contreras to be our catcher. We signed Rafael Devers to an extension to keep him long term. Well, we offered him an extension. He didn't actually sign it. So we're going to kind of see how this season will go, see if we can kind of bring in some other players, kind of revamped our pitching staff a little bit, traded for Kyle Wright. Signed some guys off of the free agent market in Blake Trinan, as well as Kenley Jansen. So we're now going to go ahead and see, like I said, we're going to try and see what we can offer to keep Devers long term in the organization. So try to see how much we can kind of shortchange this contract, because obviously we want to be able to afford it long term. So he doesn't want to be locked into a long-term contract like that, which, as we know, isn't exactly the truth. The whole situation will be not wanting to lose out on potential dollars. So, yep, he'll sign that contract as expected. Kyle Wright. He's the ace right now. 6 years. I'll sign that. And Reynolds, everyday role. And we'll give him, let's see, 8. And we'll take it down with the player option. All right. So we'll have to kind of wait and see how the budget plays out for that. But all right, we're gonna go ahead through spring training here, just because it really doesn't mean all that much. We revamped our coaching staff as well. If you didn't check out the last episode, links to the entire playlist will be down in the show notes below. All right. And we're going to go ahead now and advance to the regular season. And we're going to begin the 2023 campaign towards winning a World Series. So as you can see there on our rankings, 5th overall, 3rd in contact, 4th in power, 10th in pitching, 12th in defense, and 15th in speed. So let's make sure we got the lineup that we're looking for. So they actually left Kirilloff and put Vogelbach in the minors, as well as Luis Arraez, Gio. So kind of an interesting bench that they left us with. We'll see how this plays out. If not, we're going to make some changes there. It's more so because they kept more guys up from the pitching side, but we'll see how things kind of play out right now. We're going to go ahead and sim through to the draft and see how things kind of play out from there. And we'll start to reevaluate the squad at that point. So we're going to clear these notifications because they're not really anything of note. And all right. So we're going to go ahead and go to the draft. So we made the postseason, so obviously we weren't going to land as high a spot as in previous years. So we're thin on the shortstop side of things. And I'm just going to go ahead and continue picking these players that are highly scouted by us and that are younger. Go ahead and just keep selecting from the top. All right. We're gonna keep going here, and we're gonna auto sim probably. Yep. All right. Auto draft the rest of the way. Head to these draft picks. So honestly, a couple of 80s, couple of 70s, but none that are going to be anything too special to write home about right now. And just going to sign them and keep it moving. Okay. So we're a game and a half up in the division over the Guardians. In terms of our trade block, still need help on the pitching side of things. First and second base are really problematic as well. So we're gonna take a look at this roster really quickly here, starting with the pitching side. So need a little bit of help in the back end of the bullpen here, or back end of the rotation. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and switch Paddock out. The bullpen is pretty solid. Looking at the offense here, Byron Buxton, man, constant struggle that is Byron Buxton. Wilson Contreras is struggling. Tyler O'Neill is struggling. All right, and all right. Let me see how some of these guys are doing down here. So Iglesias, yeah, Luis Ariz and Daniel Vogelbach, Urshela, they're all coming back up. So let's make these changes now because they honestly should have been here from get-go. So we're gonna call up Arise and we're gonna send down Yavar, let's see, Vogelbach is coming up. And we're going to send down, yeah. And so we're going to go with that right now. Yep, and plug that in the right way. Perfect. All right, cool. So now we're going to skip ahead once again. Get through June.
Inside the
and through most of July. The Yankees acquired Ian Happ from the Cubs. That is a big deal. All right, anybody in the home run derby? Devers and Correa. Nice. All right. And let's see who is representing us in the Midsummer Classic. All right. Blake Trinan. Devers is in the, and Correa are both in the starting lineup. And yeah, nice. So a little bit more representation than last year. And yeah. All right. So as we are through the All-Star break here, we are 4 games up in the division. All right. And in terms of the pitching side of things, Sonny Gray's struggling right now. Chris Paddock is struggling. Yeah, which is why I moved him to begin with out of the rotation. Bullpen is okay. Might need a little bit of help here. So let's take a look at the trade block. Scott Barlow. Gimme. I think I'm gonna try Scott Barlow. See what it would take to get him. So honestly, I wonder if let's see how high up we have to go. So if we do this, we're going to get ourselves a quality reliever. Still has 1 year arbitration. So you know what? I think I'm going to make this move. So that helps in that regard. And yeah, I think I might leave it there. Cody Bellinger. Oh, that's rough right now. All right. Now, Yandy is a guy, because of his versatility, that I really like having on the roster. But it really becomes dependent as to how much we got to give up. Because when you really think about it, like if I'm giving up, you know, one of these higher level players. Although I could give up a guy like Jake Cave and something else. Interesting. Let's see. Gone. He's not even in the majors for us right now. Although he's having a good season in pitching AAA, AA. But nothing overly spectacular there. Let's see. Like so close yet so far. Palacios. Yandi. He's got a year left of arbitration. Solid contact, decent glove. I don't know that I want to give up Palacios. Caldwell. Yeah, I don't know about this. Alright, so we're going to skip that for now then. Let's... Alright, you're struggling, so we're going to send you down. And we're going to continue on. Yep, auto fix that. All right, so let's reevaluate this roster really quickly here. So definitely need help in the rotation. Added a little bit to the bullpen here, which will be a positive increase, but we need help in the rotation. So let's go back to the trade block. And know that this is really who I'm looking for to help us. Now, Plesac could be a guy. And he might not cost so much to acquire. So what it would cost to get Savali. Let's see. All right. Yeah, it's gonna cost quite a bit. It's about let's see. Palacios. That's me giving up 2 catchers. All right, is there anybody else that I could potentially acquire? So that's not over crazy, but let me see. Offensively, yeah, getting that. Yeah, all right. So let's try to see. Okay, so let me see if I can Palacios for somebody lesser. So I would take Palacios. Yeah. Okay, so I could get rid of. Go. That works. I'll do that. All right. So let's head over here. And actually, I want to take a look at the roster. So Plesac is going to take over for Paddock's spot. So I'm going to send Paddock down because it's really not helpful. And we can probably send down McCall. So send Paddock down. Then on the offensive side of things, yeah, there's really nobody I can send down from there. So let me see. But we also got to do 40-man roster issue and Jake Cave. All right. Okay, so last couple days before the trade deadline, we find ourselves 4 games up in the division. We have made some changes to our roster. Again, there's still some vacancies, some potential areas of weakness in terms of overall gradings, but I do believe that comparatively speaking, we got a good squad. There's, obviously some areas that can be improved upon in terms of the overall numbers, but when you really look at the breakdown, the roster that we have is very strong roster. So, contract extensions. I mean, there's quite a few guys that we now got to make some decisions on, but for now, we're going to go ahead and sim through the end of August to the September call-ups. All right. And all right. All right. So we're going to go ahead on our 40. We'll call Iglesias up. I usually like to call up one pitcher and one position player if they've kind of represented. Now we're in a really good spot here as we head into the beginning of September. We have a 9-game lead in the division and the second best record behind only the Astros in the American League as a whole. So we're going to go ahead through September now, and hopefully we can get ourselves into a prime postseason position so that we're not dealing with the wild card game like we had to a year ago. And we have clinched our division, so we're going to be jumping into the division series, which is good. But the Astros have claimed the best record. So, all right. So we're going to go ahead now. We're going to be taking on the Blue Jays. So we're going to go ahead here. Let's look at the awards. Carlos Correa and Brian Reynolds, Golden Glove winners. So Devers was second in the MVP race. Kyle Wright was second in the Cy Young. Correa was third in the Hank Aaron Award. League leaders, Devers with RBIs with 111. And Correa, the award leader, at 7.6. All right, so let's go ahead through this series. Not off to a good start. All right. And a decisive Game 5. So as we see the series kind of playing out, Seattle beat the Yankees in the wild card. On the American League side is now a 2-2 series with the Astros and the Mariners. Likewise, 2-2 series between the Twins and the Blue Jays. On the National League side, San Diego defeated the Phillies in the wild card game and would lose 3-1 to the Dodgers. Atlanta took the series 3-2 over the Brewers. It's going to be a Dodgers-Atlanta National League Championship Series here in 2023, and we're going to see how things play out now in the game. And we've lost. We've been eliminated by the Blue Jays. All right, so we're going to sim through the postseason. The Astros defeated the Dodgers in the 2023 World Series. So a repeat of 2022 in this simulation series. And we're going to advance the day. Joe Madden has decided to retire, as well as our first base coach. And our third base coach, his contract is up. All right, so retiring players: Charlie Morton, Albert Pujols, Justin Verlander. Let's see, any other notable names? Let's see. Nelson Cruz, Didi Gregorius, Zach Greinke, Yulieski Gurriel, Rich Hill, Greg Holland, Tommy Hunter. So a few names here on this list: Andrew McCutchen, Yachty. All right. David Price. So Sergio Romo, Joe Smith, Justin Upton. All right. So Pujols and Verlander to the Hall of Fame. All right. So we have only 3 players in our exclusive negotiation window, all of whom are going to want more than I'd be willing to give them. So we're going to completely let them walk. We have coaching spots that need to be filled. So we're going to go ahead and offer contracts out to these positions. So let's go ahead and offer these. And we need a new manager because Joe Madden decided to retire. So let's see. All right. So we're going to go ahead. Chris Woodward accepted. David Bell. And all right, cool. So our coaching staff is now locked in play. Again, we're not negotiating with these guys. And none of them are getting a qualifying offer. So, all right. So now we've reached free agency here. We have a ton of guys already on the 40-man roster that we have to kind of figure out what we're doing with. Again, not a ton of space here for some of these guys that could potentially find their way onto the list. But we're going to take a look. And all right, so yeah, sorry. So we're good there. Let's see. Budget-wise, not a ton of space. We really did a lot with this roster over the past couple of seasons. So there's really not a lot that we can do. Now, obviously, you see the big name on the board. It is Shohei Ohtani. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to give him a highly competitive offer. We're going to go and see 25 a year for 15 years with a player option. Now, obviously, Ohtani serves 2 purposes, both as a designated hitter and as a ace starting pitcher. I would like to improve our starting rotation because, as you've seen, has not worked out quite the greatest for us. But we shall see how things kind of shake out for us here. Plesac. All right. And let's see. All right. Contreras had a rough year. All right. So we're going to see how things kind of shake out with Ohtani. We got to offer contracts to everyone. Now, most of these contracts that we're offering here are going to be the minimum deals, because most of the guys that were on this list last year that were on these kind of bigger deals, bigger contracts, are signed to multiple years. So we won't be having to deal with them relatively soon. So we're going to go ahead and offer these up. Right. Okay. And we got to deal with the arbitration cases, which are going to be relatively lengthy. For arbitration. Again, when it comes to arbitration with these players, it's one of these things that if they played in the majors, they're going to win their case. If they did not, they will not. So now, as you can see, we're going to have to kind of make some moves here in terms of what we're dealing with salary-wise. I mean, the reality is that if Shohei doesn't take our offer, then, you know, it's a much different boat, because financially speaking, Shohei's was taking up the majority of that offer. And he would make a significant difference on this team. But we honestly may not need to go that route. We do need another pitcher on the back end of the rotation. It's going to be much better. That's without question. So if we look to these other places, let's see. Because the reality is that we can either upgrade at the front end or the back end. And all right. So this is where we're going to leave it now. We're going to try to figure out what this roster looks like for the 2024 season. So make sure you keep it locked in to the Baseball Banter Broadcast by hitting the subscribe button down below on this YouTube channel. Follow us over on Twitter at banter_baseball, where we keep the conversation rolling throughout the course of the off season and the regular season. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in, and make sure you keep it locked in. Help support the channel by heading over to baseballbanterbroadcast.com, our merchandise shop, and using any one of the number of promo codes that we have on the site to be able to save on your baseball shopping needs. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Keep it locked in, and I'll catch you guys on the next broadcast. Peace.